Hi there, I'm Peter Googe, Technical Director of the Fulvic Acid Company. I'm here today with Nikki Brown, who's the UK dog whisperer. Thank you for agreeing to an interview, Nikki.
Hi Peter, nice to meet you.
You too. What I'd like to know first is how you got into, you call yourself the UK dog whisperer. So how did you get into that? What was your passions and what stimulated to set up your own business doing this?
I started many years ago. I had a pet dog myself. I was about 16. He was a lovely dog, but he was terrible out on the walk, and cut a very long story short, he had a terrible road accident, got hit by a car and died in the vets the next day, and I was just coming up to 17 at the time, and it totally devastated me. I kind of blamed myself. I thought if I'd had more control of him outside, this wouldn't have happened. So that really drove me on to studying dog psychology. I just wanted to know more about where I'd gone wrong, and how I could put things right if I got another dog. I then ended up travelling around the world, volunteering in animal sanctuaries in America and New Zealand and in this country, and just really getting absorbed in the whole what's going on in society with the human and animal relationship at the moment. Society has got many relationship problems as it is. Many more people are having problems with their pets than they were 30-40 years ago. There's a high rise of vet bills at the moment, behavioural bills. It's just on a massive rise, and I just wanted to help people really just find solutions that work to help them overcome some of their pets' health and behavioural problems, and help them achieve a better relationship, help them achieve a longer life. Pets seem to be dying at a very young age. They're not living their whole lifespan these days. Animals should go on living sort of up into their 20s, and the vet's telling us at sort of 11 or 12, oh, your dog's had a good life. They're not even really reaching half their lifespan these days. So I've just done a lot of study and education on this, and I've gone out and just helped lots of people sort of find those solutions to some of the problems that they're having.
And when you were doing your study and your research, was it obviously apparent that the way that we are in this country and the way that we react and behave around animals, did you now realise that it was completely wrong and we were doing everything in a wrong way, or was it kind of shocking to realise that people have been doing it wrong for so long? Or
yeah, I kind of had this moment. I was sat there in one of the kennels. I used to just go and sit in the dog kennels all day and just become a dog, and I used to watch every little movement, like little twitch in their eyes, tails, and I sort of based my work really on Monty Roberts and his horse whispering. He used to go and sit in the fields as a kid and just watch the herd of wild horses and learn their communication, how they communicated with each other. And that's really what I did with the dogs. And yeah, I sat there one day and it just sort of, that little light bulb moment went, where everything that I'd learned just suddenly clicked into place, and I kind of thought, yeah, not that everybody's doing it all wrong, but there's a better way of doing it. And I've learned that better way, and I just sort of felt that I had to go out and help people. And it's a passion of mine. It's a passion because I went through that myself at 16, 17, and it devastated me for a long time. So I understand the bond between animal and human, and when it's unbalanced, that relationship, how upsetting it can be, how much it can affect the rest of your life. It can affect your job and your other relationships, and you become almost fearful. The owners become almost fearful because they don't know how to deal with these problems. Fear really comes from a basis of not understanding something. When we understand something, it becomes less scary. So my job really is just to go out and educate and teach and help people on getting a better bond and understanding really what our animals and our pets need from us today. A lot of people think, I'll go out and buy a dog, I'll get a bed, I'll get a collar and a chain and a sack of food, and job done. And they bring this dog into their home, You know, and the dog is the closest descendant to the wolf, which comes with a huge responsibility. You're inviting the wolf into your home, you know, and these dogs, even though we've domesticated them, they do a great job in learning our language, learning how to please us and provide for our needs. And it's, you know, just about time, I think, we learn how to really provide them with what they need, because then there's a balance in the relationship.
Yeah, and I know that you've built up quite a big client list since you started, and you mentioned some about the techniques that you've learned, and are they easy to pass on to the clients, or do they kind of take a bit of time getting used to the new techniques in terms of controlling and that kind of thing?
Everything's easy when you know how.
Yeah.
Is when you don't know how. It's like, but I always liken it to learning to drive. All right. You know, you think back to your first driving lesson, and it was terrifying, and you had all these gears to think of, and mirrors and signals and manoeuvres, and you had to listen to what he was saying, and you had to watch cars coming in, and your brain just was like, how do I take all of this in? Now, after many repetitions, you can get in that car and you could almost do it blindfolded. You can think about what you're doing tomorrow, you can think about what tea, you know, you can rerun conversations you had with your partner this morning, all of that. It becomes natural and sort of automatic. So yeah, when I've made it very, very simple for even children to learn. Alright, it's just basic working on energy principles, body language. I don't use things like treats or gizmos or gadgets or training aids. You know, we're dealing with an animal which has an energy and we're an energy, and if it's working out where the imbalance in those energies are and creating a balance between the two. And usually through body language, I teach people a communication, animal communication, you know, how does our body language, how do they read our body language, you know? If we're full of worry and fear and tension and anger and everything, all of those are negative feelings, which negativity weakens our energy, puts an enormous amount on our stress on our immune systems, we become ill and so forth. You know, animals are the same. If they become too stressed out, it weakens their energy. So I do everything I can to put good energy back into the animal, good energy back into the person. And once you teach somebody the techniques and you show them how to talk to the animals, the fear disappears and the confidence comes in, which confidence is a positive energy, and you just raise your emotions and your energy levels, and the animal really responds to that.
Right.
So it's all done very on natural communication and techniques.
Yeah, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about diet and nutrition for animals.
Yes.
I know you're a big fan of the raw meaty bones diet, as am I, because basically I'm a fan of anything that's logical and makes perfect sense, and raw meaty bones diet is logical and it does make perfect sense.
Yes.
So explain a little bit about that. You know, how did you first come about it, and what, I know most of your clients now that you do convert to the raw meaty bones diet, and what kind of results have occurred from that?